My name is Lauren, or Glitter Explosion. I am one of the assistant general managers for Rogue, specifically working with BR, and I'm also here at the Apex Legends preseason invitational as one of the desk analysts for the event.
I mean, we've been here for what now? Good 2 hours. Looks like one of the bags didn't come here to the airport in Poland. Dreams is the one missing it, so I guess it's going to be a bit more difficult to start than we thought it would be. But we're going to figure it out.
Hello. How's it going?
How's it going? I mean, we're good. I don't know about you guys.
Where's our crew?
These are the guys who we're looking for as well.
I'm Sweetdreams, I'm 20 years old and I'm from Kansas City. Growing up I played Call of Duty and a bunch of PS2 games, so like Ratchet and Clank and just like a bunch of fun games with my brother. I got into PC gaming to play a game called Arma 2 and a little bit of Minecraft when I first got it, but nothing really competitive. I kind of just wanted to get a PC to do homework on and kind of got into playing games as well.
Sweetdreams is our high DPS player. He's going to be on Wraith, so he's going to be the one that's ideally putting out the most damage out of all three of the players on the team, but he also is currently one half of our shot calling duo. He works concurrently with Dropped.
I got into pro gaming through H1Z1. I've always been really close with Frank. Like Frank's been like a 28-month sub to me on Twitch. I kind of got the offer from Rogue and I was on salary, and first tournament I went to, I won. The switch flicked and I was a pro gamer. My mom didn't even like believe it. Like she was kind of just like, all right, son, like I'll see it when I see it. And she finally saw it and she was like, wow, this is like pretty crazy. And I was just like stoked the entire time. I guess with gaming, it kind of just opened a door that I didn't think would open with playing video games and traveling the world.
God, I'm gonna look so good.
Okay, thank you.
The genre of Battle Royale is a video game mode where it is a last man standing type of event. For Apex Legends specifically, they are 3-man teams, and they land on a map with 0 loot, have to loot up, and are consistently pushed toward enemy teams towards the center of a ring, and they have to battle their way until they are the last team coming out on top.
Team pick for the video?
I mean, that was one of the reasons.
Okay, one more step. Great. And just in case, the one more shot. Boom. You got it.
Now he's smiling.
Okay, and what's your nickname?
HusKers. HusKers.
HusKers is the team captain of our Apex Legends team. He plays and fills more of a support role for the team. You're typically going to see him on somebody like a Watson, where he has a more defensive playstyle that's just inherently part of that legend. And then he obviously has to, you know, pull his weight in the damage department.
My name is HusKers. I'm 38 years old. My name is HusKers. I'm 23 years old, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. They always make fun of me because I'm old compared to them. I'd say the moment when I realized I first became a pro gamer was probably in that first H1Z1 tournament I played in back in March of 2017. And once we placed third and won a pretty big chunk of money from that, that's when I knew that I could actually be considered a pro gamer. I actually didn't graduate from college until right before the H1 Pro League started. So for pretty much 2 years I was I guess I was playing H1 professionally, but I mean, there were only there was only like a tournament every couple months back then in H1. So, and it was on like a weekend, so I was able to like, you know, fly out on Friday, play the tournament, come back Sunday in time for school. Yeah, I mean, I think esports is a great thing that provides younger people with like an opportunity to make a real living. I still think that, you know, getting an education is really important because, yeah, there are a lot of people, a lot of like pro gamers that are able to find a position within esports after they like retire from pro gaming. If I had an offer to join like an esports team back in high school or even college where like I would only be able to do one or the other, I probably wouldn't have taken it and I probably would have stayed in school.
Oh, they had those things, that box right there, it's like a candy bar. They had that on the flight. It's like pretty good, yeah.
Oh yeah,
What was
like
it called? Grisecki or something like that?
It's like a
They served it right before breakfast, which I thought was
Yeah.
We got a huge kebab last night for like $3.80.
Bro, it was huge.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually huge, and it was only $3. It's actually wild.
right up this way. Sorry.
I don't know if this is just standing like a cool like light just together, just smiling.
My name is Drop. I'm 20 years old. I grew up in San Antonio, Texas. Now I live in Las Vegas.
Dropped is our third player on our Apex Legends roster. He is going to be our Pathfinder. He also is, or was originally, the only shot caller for the team, which would be the person who's kind of deciding when they move, where to rotate, the in-game immediate decisions that they're making, and recently that has switched up to a little bit more of a 50-50 split with our other player, Sweetdreams.
Oh, we're using TeamSpeak too, bro? Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're already
at home.
Yeah, this isn't bad at all.
My pro career started in H1Z1, and I actually, my first ever pro team I joined was Rogue. I was with Rogue for about a year and I'm trying to think. How long was I with Rogue? For like a year, I'm pretty sure. I was with Rogue for like a year. So my dad, he didn't really support it too much because he always looked at gaming as kind of like a side thing, you know, you have fun, you don't make money off of it. He didn't really understand that part. So when I started making money, he started to understand. My mom was supportive the whole time. She basically like supports anything I try to set my mind to. Yeah, playing H1, there was quite a bit of time where we kind of like knew that it was dying, but we just kept playing because we were getting paid to play it. And yeah, so it ended up eventually dying, and you know, I was pretty upset about that because I actually liked H1. I enjoyed competing in it. And then I had to, you know, get a job, start working, and I wasn't really gaming that much anymore because I didn't really like any games that were out. There was never any really like I told you so or anything by my parents. They just told me to like start with my life and, you know, stop gaming and everything. Yeah, so I was working that part-time job and then decided to quit my job and really pursue Apex. I hadn't even have gotten the offer from Sweet or HusKers yet. I saw Apex had a future, so I decided like to bet on myself basically and quit my job and put my full time into Apex, and I knew that I would be able to get on a team. I was super hyped because first of all, like Rogue, when I was on Rogue before, I really loved being on Rogue and they treated me well, so I was excited to just join Rogue again and be under the Rogue banner again. And I was very like, I guess relieved when I got the offer because it showed that I quit my job for a reason. It paid off, you know what I mean? So I was just really relieved by that. And yeah, gaming is definitely one of the best careers in my opinion, for sure.
So I have actually been friends with all three of our players since they all started playing BR back in, you know, H1Z1 days. Not only have they all been a part of Rogue at various stages throughout the entire development of the Battle Royale genre, but I have also worked with HusKers on previous organizations, and so there has been a very long-standing relationship with all three of our players, which I actually think is very beneficial in our day-to-day functionings together as a team.
Since I was on Rogue for the H1 Pro League, they actually kept me on as like a content creator right afterwards. I think Frank just like really believed in me as like a BR player in general, and he knew that like I had the potential to transition to a new game.
But at the time, out of the 5 players we had, he had been the only one that was consistently producing content, that was trying to stream and grow his brand. It was something that he was interested in doing. So both myself and Frank saw the value in him outside of obviously being a pro. He's good at video games regardless, right? But we decided to keep him on as a content creator, knowing full well that there was going to be yet another BR that came along in the scene and we could easily find a home for him, which ended up actually being Blackout for Black Ops 4, which he was phenomenal at.
Going into Blackout, I had the opportunity to build my own team, and so knowing how good they were just at BRs in general, I like contacted sweetdreams to see if he wanted to play with me for Blackout, and I mean, I was a little hesitant at first because like he was very washed at the end of H1, so I wasn't too sure if he would be able to, you know, get on the grind again and be a good BR player, but he proved his worth to me.
He was kind of bad at H1, but I wouldn't say I was friends with HusKers throughout H1, but like we were somewhat acquaintances, and I dropped him from my H1Z1 Pro League team before, so I didn't know like how well this was gonna go.
No, I mean like I said, like I knew that sweetdreams was, I just knew that he was a really good BR player in general, and like he had the skills to, you know, transition from different BR games. And so yeah, I was never worried about, you know, him not being able to perform at Apex, just again because like Apex is like pretty similar to Blackout, like movement wise, and so I didn't think that there's going to be any issue there.
Going into Apex and Blackout, HusKers was probably the best Blackout PC player, like bar none. And I played a duo game with him and like low-key carried him, and he was like, wow, you're really good. One thing led to another, and then our friendship solidified.
Initially, when we had been looking into creating a Blackout roster for Black Ops 4, we obviously were going to be making HusKers a part of that roster. He had already been playing the game, and he had already, at that point, I think, set a record. So it was a given that he would be part of that roster, and it's something he wanted to play. He actually has his very early on competitive roots are in Call of Duty, so it was something he was very comfortable coming back to. And then I don't know what happened, but we announced our Blackout squad on our social media, and HusKers, in his infinite perfect timing and wisdom, put out a tweet a few hours later letting everybody know just how dead he thought the game was. So that was very unfortunate for our announcement specifically.
It's actually crazy the timing, like right when Blackout died is when Apex came out. It was insane. Like literally a week or two after Blackout died, this new game, Apex Legends, just came out of nowhere and surprised everyone. And I saw that it was pretty similar to Blackout, you know, like first person VR, boots on the ground, with like this unique twist with all the legends and their abilities. So that definitely caught my attention. I jumped in that right away. And then, yeah, I mean, now Apex has like a really big future out of it, so we're excited.
I mean, that looks like that's gonna be fucking terrible. No, I mean, we can easily just switch real quick.
Okay, so what do you mean?
If we switched, my mouse, like look over here.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, yeah. You wanna do that?
Yeah.
Now, my teammate dropped. I was on Rogue with for around 8 months, and him and I have been really good friends, and we kept in touch over the time of him like working and playing other games and being on different teams. But Dropped and I have been good friends since H1, and it was just kind of a no-brainer for me to bring him out of retirement per se, to play with us in Apex. If I remember him correctly, he was pretty close to like joining the military and like completely leaving games, and I randomly jumped in TeamSpeak one day and we played a scrim together, and like I could tell Dropped was like gonna be as good as he was in H1. Like Dropped was like a top 5 player in H1Z1.
So I knew Sweet and HusKers from H1Z1. Obviously, we competed against each other. I teamed with Sweet for a decent amount of time, and also just competed against HusKers. They knew me, they like respected me as a player, and they actually had a full team at the time, and they decided to drop those 2 players and give me a chance to try out against another player, and I ended up winning the tryout.
Sweetdreams is the one that initially like brought up Drop's name, but because like I wasn't even really sure if he was like committing to Apex full time back then, but yeah, after we just played some scrims with him, we knew that he would be a really good fit.
Rogue now, all with purple armor. There's a couple on the floor as well, so they could potentially swap out those shields, and Rogue still in control.
Rogue are just laying down fire. They had all the high ground and they get the victory. And the boys who have been a team for so long, throughout several iterations of any Battle Royale, show that they are here to play.
Coming up next on the main stage, it's the winners, the 10 teams from Groups C and Groups D. Rogue, they show up big. They show up greatly in round 1. Can they repeat their performance with consistency in round 2?
And now 8 spots left, and now you see TSM come to life. Abrelelli getting it down himself. VP struggling, 2 players down.
Medkit, and he's just hoping that no one's going to see him.
And I'm looking across the kill feed at the moment. We're seeing TSM pick up kills. We're seeing Rogue pick up kills. But as we say this, HusKers get taken down.
Huge win to close out the day. And then executed.
We literally like it was top 5, and we take this spot and drop. Lily cannot move and dies to gas.
In the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a game bug. Sometimes when people take portals, you can't move, and you're just completely stuck. Like I'm even like trying to grapple away, and like I'm just completely stuck. But all that matters is like we played super well the last game, and you know.
3rd place, holy shit.
That's not bad.
Holy shit.
We were 1 point from 2nd.
Holy shit.
What?
Imagine having a game bug happen to you and still getting 3rd in like an almost second.
Because all that matters is you qualify.
Talk shit tomorrow back. Yeah.
Good.
Bro, I'm gonna be taken. I'm not choking at 30 minutes steaming hot shower.
So the reason Apex Legends is such a unique BR compared to other Battle Royale games is because it is a legend-based BR, which means there are different classes that you can play when you are deciding your character for this game, which is nothing that's ever been done before in any other BR. That's probably the biggest reason it's different. And then you know, they added a bunch of smaller tweaks here and there. They kind of adjusted the way players can make rotations with their balloon system, which was new. They were the first one to add in the respawn mechanic with the respawn beacons, which was not around until they did it as well. So they've kind of taken all of the good that was at the core of what BR was and then improved upon it in some way.
I mean, for first-person BRs right now, pretty much PUBG and Apex, and I think coming into it, just like the core boots on the ground mechanics, really focusing on like first-person gunfights is like really appealing to some people, because right now you have a couple third-person and more cartoony games, but I think like the hardcore like guns versus guns gameplay is like appealing to a lot of people, and for me, it's just like a cut and dry Battle Royale game that I love.
Welcome back to the Apex Legends preseason invitational, where we are getting ready for day 2.
Now checking them in the Rogue. They've had some tough results so far, and they need a big game here in both 3 and 4, ideally, if they want to stay alive in the winner's bracket and head to the grand final tomorrow.
All right, there's 3 spots in this guy.
Yep.
He goes sit up tomorrow. You guys go sit up.
So the esports scene specifically for Apex Legends is obviously relatively new. They just had their first event at X Games. This preseason invitational is really their first big money event that they're kind of dedicating towards Apex Legends competitive scene, and I think that it has a really promising future. I think that people are starting to get very excited about it. I think it's brought a lot to the BR genre as a whole, and I think that if they can kind of keep this momentum going where the developer is doing a good job with patch updates and adding new content and keeping the player base really involved and engaged, that this could end up being a massive esport within the BR world.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to begin. The players are ready for the drop ship, pop clip. Let's see who the Arc Star sticks. This is the Apex Legends preseason invitational. This is Championship Sunday.
I got a lot of respect for Sweet Dreams, HusKers & Co., veterans in the BR scene, but really, I gotta be honest, my unbiased self, they laid an egg yesterday in that winners bracket final. You know, we didn't see a huge performance out of them, which is shocking with how talented they are and how remarked they are by their peers. I think it was Albert Lely or Imperial Hal I was talking to at TSM and asked him which teams he respects the most. He said, I've been playing with Rogue for a long time in BR titles. They are as experienced as it gets. Look at these shots from Sweet Dreams. 4 straight wingman shots for 200 damage. He was connecting for so much damage. Hopefully we get the damage stat so we can see exactly how much he did. He's not done yet.
Grenades come in. Circle is closing. We're on board with HusKers here from Rogue, trying to land some shots. The R99 drilling so many players, and here comes the push now from MVP.
Rogue doing all they can, and they get the champion as well. An amazing push at the end from both teams, and unfortunately it's just not enough.
Rogue are raining down on third impact, and they are taking out the players. The wingman shots are hitting hard as well. One more player alive, but G2, they're getting involved in a battle of their own.
Yeah, G2 taking down Windstrike, and at the moment Rogue are getting on third impact.
That's from
third
Rogue.
impact in 4th place. Is that going to be enough?
Rogue on the outside of the compound.
Can Rogue do it again? They have the outside view, and there is so many weak members of G2 within that building. You just got to wait for them to push out, and you should have this.
Rogue are in a great position here. HusKers, R99, what can you make happen?
He does get the finish, but it's still a 2v1. It's going to be a great situation for Rogue, and they're champions again. They didn't need it, but they go out with style into the grand final.
What a time to find your form here in Poland. Rogue.
Welcome back, everybody. We're live here from the stage at the Alvernia Studios. I have Sweet Dreams from Rogue. We have had plenty of conversations over the last couple months, but now this conversation revolves around the grand final. I talked to your teammate HusKers before this weekend, and I said, who needs to step up? What needs to happen for Rogue to walk away with the win? And he said it comes down to us playing our game, but if I had to pick a player, it's got to be Sweet Dreams. That's you. Why do you think that is, and do you feel that you have stepped up to the plate?
Yeah, so coming into the games, I'm the IGL for the team, so just inherently I need to be on point every game we play. And, today I had 3 games and 3 in a row, 6 kills, 4 kills, and, I'm fragging out as well as calling really well. So I'd say I did step up as well as both my teammates.
You guys blazed through the winners bracket fairly well, and then winners finals, you were unfortunately on that back 50, which meant you had to play in the losers finals today. How were you guys able to reel back from that loss yesterday to ensure that you guys made yourselves to the grand finals today?
Yeah, we came in today more confident than we did coming into our first group. Like, we knew we were going to dominate this group. Yesterday was just unfortunate, leaving Skull with 3 whites and really far zones. But, going into today, we just reset. We talked about the games last night, moved on, and reset for today, and it turned out well.
Well, the reset is across the board. No winners, no losers, just 20 teams and that 50-point threshold, and then a win right after that. There are a lot of exquisite players and fantastic teams that are playing into this. Is there anything that's going to change about your mentality to ensure that you can add that level of aggression when you reach that 50-point threshold?
Yeah, I mean, this being like the first time we've had the scoring system, I don't really know how it's going to play out. So, we're just going to play our game and see if we can win the whole thing. But, when it comes down to it, nothing's really going to change. I think everyone's just going to play the same and, see who's the best.
Do you see yourself and your teammates standing here in a couple hours' time raising that trophy?
Yeah, we're fresh off 2 wins. We're warmed up. A lot of the teams who, went through the Winners Grand Finals without playing today aren't going to be as warm as us. And we're fresh off 2 wins, and we're ready to dominate.
All right, hot and ready, just like a hot pocket. It didn't take a long time for Rogue to warm up, but they're ready to go, and the feast is upon us. We're heading back to the studio to get things going.
Thank you so much, Jump. Sweet Dreams, certainly not lacking any confidence, of course, as you see him on stage. But how can you blame him? The way he's performing as an individual, the way he's performing as a leader, and to hear that he's doing everything he's doing from a frag perspective.
80 teams descended on Poland. We're down to our final 20 now. Dan Gaskin, it is time
for our final lobby to kick off. But we have to just point out, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon for these teams. Such an interesting format that's going to throw up so many surprises.
Yeah, of course, there is a point threshold. We have to be considering there is 50 points you have to achieve, and once you've reached those 50 points, then you have to win a match of Apex Legends to become the Apex champion.
Rogue have everything in their possession to potentially pull out a huge win here in game number 1. HusKers goes down.
It's just dropped, and it's only got the shield battery as well. It's going to be a 3v1.
Here comes Rogue.
Rogue, another team who have been able to pick up victory after victory.
Checking in with Rogue, a team we have had our eyes on all weekend long. They had a rough start to the tournament, a slow one, and of course a team that was really on our list of a team that had a lot to prove. Dropped on the Rogue side, and Rogue still looking very good. Some shots here coming through, and they will get 2 knocks. That's going to be Mady who gets the knock there. Help also goes down on the hand of Weimer. Shots here from Drops as he takes more damage there from the thermite grenade. sweetdreams only has 1 HP. Drops trying to struggle. HusKers the only one with the shots back here. It was a great couple of shots coming out from the side. But look at Rogue, man. The fact that they're able to hold up and posture up around this rock, and it does not look good here. Drops moves up on the backside of the rock. Staying alive somehow. His teammates did pop bats though, so now, oh no, both of those are gone. It's only up to HusKers, who's around the corner. Certainly he'll go down. Let's see if he can get away. Doesn't have the opportunity to really get an easy escape here as he is just a Watson. You see watch him walk into a door, but that is just going to be a trap. Now we see Rogue, a team that we know it's going to be in that 50, but not there quite yet.
Rogue here, having better opportunity than I feel like we've seen from them in the past couple of games. They have been, I mean, it's been tragic, and I don't mean that in terms of their play, but just more the circumstances they've been dealt over and over again after having the most lethal losers final coming into this with a double win.
We are at 11:20 local time. Over 6 hours of finals so far. It's a marathon for these teams. Only one can win it, and they need to win.
Let's get game number 11, match 11 here.
What a tournament for them. What a final here in Krakow, Poland. The preseason invitational has not disappointed in what ended up being a 6-hour, 44-minute final, and an epic one here at the preseason invitational.
It has been an unbelievable weekend. We've seen juggernauts fall. We've seen new heroes rise. We've proven that every region of the world has the capability to do what it takes to win. But at the end of the weekend, at the end of a near 7-hour final, there are 3 members that stand atop the mountain, 3 members that can hoist the trophy. It's none other than...
Yeah, Apex is doing a really good job with like creating a strong esports infrastructure. Like their plan is to, you know, have like a big tournament every month, and from the tournaments that I've already been to, the devs have been very responsive to like feedback from players, and so they're definitely they're taking in advice from like actual pro players and, you know, making changes to the game based on that. Whereas back in like H1Z1 and Call of Duty Blackout, the devs really didn't listen to the community or the players that much, and so I think that's like a really big thing that's different about Apex.